Good evening, folks. I don't know if anyone's in the chat yet. I started this one a little bit early. Got my cup of tea and my golden goal mug. Have a little sip. Hope everyone's doing well. I was at a bit of a loose end for what to do tonight. Thursday's my night off from training. So yeah, just thought I'd go live. This isn't going to be like a weekly thing. I just thought I'd go live, just off the cuff, do a little Q&A if anyone's got any questions for me. Have a look at my team. Made a team selection video today, so yeah, just here to answer any questions you guys have got. Minimal, good to see you in the chat, mate. Eze, Rogers, Welbeck, please rank in order. Who have Brighton got? I keep forgetting. I don't have any Brighton players, so I don't need to know. Straight into it. Juicy -4, hello. We love a juicy -4. Who have Brighton got? Fixtures. We just need to look at fixtures, don't we? Spurs. Okay. So they could score in that one. I'd go Rogers, Welbeck, Eze would be my order there. Good evening, Kathdan. Andy, good to see you. Glenn Jensen, big ups, mate. Relatively new member in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. Tell me about your -4, Christopher. And yeah, I'd agree with you, Andy. We're bang on the money, I think, together, man. So yeah, I've already gone through my team selection video. So if you caught that today, this is the team. I'm probably going to roll, to be honest. I could get rid of Eze, but the thought of bringing in a player, Brennan Johnson was the guy I want to bring in, who will play for Wales. The thought of making early transfers, sorry, not early transfers, but just transfers in general before an international break feels a little bit risky. So yeah, I've left Eze in my team, basically. I would start Rico Lewis, Kathdan. And then just keep checking Twitter over the next couple of days, see if we get any news about him playing or not, really. The 90 minutes in the Champions League is not great for that, though, I guess. Christopher did Trent, bloody hell. Trent, Salah, Eze, Duncan, Jackson to Guardiola and Mbumo, Mavididi and Haaland. 4 free transfers. Fair enough, mate. I guess the move to get Haaland in is needed, isn't it? I think Fulham at home, he's best captain for sure. And I just think having the best captain each week is the way to go. Animations is on a -4. Eze and Pedro out for Johnson and Wood. I wouldn't do the... Oh, you might need to, actually. You'll need in the cash, I imagine. Is that worth a hit? Probably, isn't it? Yeah, I don't mind it, mate. It's just, I'd keep Eze if I could and do Pedro to Wood if you can afford it, but I'd imagine you're dropping Eze to Johnson to free up some cash. Yeah, it makes sense. It's just an unfortunate situation to be in, really. I guess the only other thing is who could come in off your bench, because I remember before the previous international break, I had a similar situation where I didn't have my ideal 11, and in order to play it, I needed to take a hit, and I ended up just starting Harry Winks. To be fair, that was the week that I triple captained Haaland, but yeah, it was the best week I've had in FPL when I had to start Harry Winks, so just something to bear in mind, especially before the international break, you know. Yep, Eze is annoying me too. I agree, Kathdan. I agree. I talked about it on my team selection video today, but there's a temptation. Of course, I felt the temptation to get rid of him, but I just don't see how he's not better than Saka and Palmer. I think with Cole Palmer as well, I don't think I've got the graphics on this video, actually. These will all be last week's because I've not. Yeah, these are all last week's. With Palmer, I wouldn't say the buck has passed, but you know, if you miss the haul in Gameweek 6, you just got to take it on the chin. I think if you buy him with the fixtures he's got, particularly if you're selling Salah for him, I think you're doing a bit of points chasing, if that's the correct term. Yeah, completely agree, Andy. I'm going to have 4 free transfers next week, and I still don't know what I want to do with them. Who is the best midfielder under 8.8 million? I saw you ask that on my video, mate, and I've got to say, The best midfielder under 8.8 million is probably less than 7 million, to be completely honest, the way the game's going. Who are you selling? I agree on Bruno, mate. I gotta say, as much as I hate it, I'd say Bruno Fernandes or maybe Bowen, but it's probably Bruno. As much as it pains me to say, you're selling Eze. I'd keep Eze. I would keep him, mate. That's what I'm doing. As wrong and painful as it sounds, I'd keep Eze. I agree on Bruno. You know, it seems mad to say it, but I can see why content creators have gone for him. I think he's decent. And what was I going to say? He's obviously had the ban overturned, and like people say, he's going to be playing with a bit of a chip. I agree, Andy. I completely agree with you. I think I've actually been able to watch some FPL content this week, and I saw one of FPL Raptors' videos, and he was saying that people are kind of I've had a cold for like the last week, Harmony. I'm all good. It's just in my nose. So sorry, you have to put up with a nasally Tom today. But yeah, I completely agree on Rodgers, by the way. Completely agree. Oh, do I have a fever? I'm actually ill. I see what you mean. It was about Bruno and Eze. But yeah. The thing I was saying that the Raptor said is people are kind of put off by Rodgers because of his price. But I bought him because I'd be happy to play him every single week against any opposition. I think he could score against anyone. Vandenberg or Mikalenko? Oh, bloody hell. Lalix, flip a coin, mate. I think it's really close between the two. What do people think to Lalix's question? Would you start Vandenberg or Mikalenko? Yeah, Bruno's obviously playing tonight. You know, as soon as you do that, well, I guess if he gets a red, he's done, isn't he? He gets a ban, so you have to sell him. He'd be one of those players that makes the list of never again. Sabine, would you get rid of Dunk, Martinez, and Minter for McNeil, Porro, and Fabianski? Possibly. It depends. If that's not for a hit, then it sort of sounds good. But if you're taking a hit for that, I wouldn't do it. I'd go Mikalenko animations. They kept it right. Aston Villa kept a clean sheet against Bayern Munich last night, right? And they have not kept. I think Villa in the last year in the Premier, the whole year, so October 2023 to right now, they've got one Premier League clean sheet, I believe. And last night they kept a clean sheet against Bayern Munich. It's crazy. So I think I'd probably say Mikalenko, mate. The logic feels broken. Yeah, Buonanotte's good, mate. There are just so many players at that price point that are pickable. My pleasure, Louis Bellina. But yeah, Buonanotte's decent, Glenn. Johnson, Madison, Bowen, please rank in order to start. Madison 1, Johnson 2, Bowen 3rd. There you go. Evening, Shaniel, mate. Good to see you again. Is there any news in the world of F1? Ricardo? I think that was last week's news, wasn't it? I don't think is there a race this weekend? I don't know. I've been struggling to keep up. What do you think of going Trent to Lewis, Eze to Foden, or Trent to Guardiola and Eze to Madison? I like the second one because I don't think we've got a big enough sample size of Foden in the Premier League yet to suggest that he's going to start. I've got to say. $4 weeks. Oh, yeah, summer break in it or whatever. I've had my dinner. I had a butter chicken curry. If anyone is in the UK, I would thoroughly recommend the Lidl butter chicken jar because I've got a little orange to have at some point. But you get a little bit of spice as well. So you get spice powder that you put on your chicken and your peppers and your onions that you're frying up. And then you marinate it in the sauce for about 10 minutes. And I always have it with chicken thigh fillets because they're a bit juicier, a bit more tasty. yeah, it was cracking. I'll be honest, Sabine. I was. I'll say I don't really care. I was in a relationship at the time, and the girlfriend I had moved to like the other side of the world. She took a job in New Zealand for a year, and I thought, well, I'm going to need something to fill in my time. I've always played fantasy football. Me and a friend of mine were doing like this weekly podcast at the time. And then I just thought, I'm going to go all in on YouTube. I'm going to give it a year, see how we get on. And that's what started it. So if you go back to 2022, that was when I started the channel. Yeah. So some of those videos in 2022 would be terrible. Well, I'm not saying they're any good now, but yeah, if you want to travel back. Good evening, Harry Dawson. I think Bruno, yeah, he's going to keep... Well, it all depends on at what point, because obviously the ownership is going to go down and then level off, right? Because that's how the prices change. So at some point it will level off. It just depends how cheap he has to go. Foden to Souček and Robertson to Van de Ven. Nah, I don't like that. Ooh. That doesn't make too much... That doesn't make too much sense to me, Sarge. You're selling two expensive players for cheaper options. I'm not sure. Top 10 travel. He's travelling. He's in Mykonos. What's the Greek beer called? Oh, it's gone. The Greek beer. It's Mythos. I hope you have a good Mythos and some tzatziki. Big man, my stomach survives every time. It's actually really good. There it says that last night, Andy. I bet you were buzzing, mate. I think that's Nick. That the guy's name is Nicholas. It's obviously in the Greek alphabet. He's Greek. We got a Greek man and a man that's in Mykonos. Look at that. Cheers, Sabine. You got to when challenges come up, you've got to make the most of it, haven't you? So that's kind of how it all formed. And then honestly, doing these like live streams and just making videos and interacting with people in the comments, and it's just an absolute pleasure. Like I obviously get paid a little bit for it now, but I do it for free all over again. I think I made over 300 videos before I actually got monetized on here. So yeah, I just absolutely loved it. I don't know if it's probably quite a blokey thing. I'm sure any female watchers could attest to it, but I think maybe the way that blokes are wired, it's good to have like a real purpose and a reason to get out of bed, right? And this channel gives me that. We got NUFC Matters, and I didn't mention this to you guys, so I'm sure Matters probably has a similar story to me, but I had a random email in my inbox a couple of weeks ago from YouTube, and I actually thought it was a scam because they were like inviting me. I don't know what I'm on, some sort of YouTube course. But yeah, me and NUFC Matters have been invited by YouTube to go on basically a 12-week content creator course. So yeah, if you need Newcastle news and updates, or in general you're a Newcastle fan, NUFC Matters, big ups. I'm just going to blow my nose because I'm a little bit ill today. I also have a massive bone to pick with Newcastle as well last week. I don't know if you actually played FPL, mate, but they did me right dirty, Newcastle. So I had Guardiola in my team, who I sold because I thought, well, he's not doing anything. He's also not keeping clean sheets. He's not scoring goals. He obviously scored. And I thought, oh, Anthony Gordon's been a bit disappointing so far this season. He bloody scores as well. So I sold 2 players that scored in that fixture. Incredible. But yeah, I hope you're doing well, mate. I enjoyed your stream earlier. The guest you had on was cracking. What else we got? Thoughts on going Van de Ven for Robinson? Or the thing is with Tottenham defenders outside of the fullbacks is they just don't keep clean sheets. I know they kept one against Man United, but that's a special case. They don't keep enough clean sheets to be worth it. And I don't think you can rely on Van de Ven to get you attacking returns. So, yeah. I chose Flecken over... Actually, John Laws, I said that on NUFC Matters stream. I noticed that they're just almost unbeatable at St James's Park at times, but away from home, they kind of drop off. Good evening, Paul. Good to see you, mate. Hope all is doing well in South Africa. You're from, isn't it? Risk to reward ratio. It's big, mate. And also, the thing is with Saka, is I was saying this on a few streams I did last week and just the chat in general. Bruno's just scored, has he? We'll keep an eye on that United score. I keep getting sidetracked because the chat just keeps going down. The thing is with Saka and Haaland, we're doing a comparison between, aren't we? The thing is with Saka, I think he's just going to be a steady level of returns across the season. Like, he will get a goal and assist almost every game, right? But just one. He's not really I don't think he's going to get that many hauls. Whereas Haaland, we all know what he's got in him, right? So for that reason, I think it's just got to be Haaland, in my opinion. Got to be Haaland. The only thing, I guess, in Saka's favour is the fixture. Like, Southampton right now are probably the 20th best team in the league. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Well, I hope all goes well for you, NUFC Matters. I must say, I do have a soft spot for Newcastle. Like, it's a unique club, isn't it, in the way that the entire city just galvanises around that one football team. And I quite like the rags to riches story you've gone through over the last couple of decades as well. Because, yeah, you lot have been in the pits for a bit of time. So, yeah, I'm pleased to... I'm pleased that... Well, I guess this season's not quite as bright as things started last season, but I'm sure you're a lot happier than with where you were. Rashford score. Right, we've got to keep an eye on this United game. I'll just switch to this solo screen so I can keep an eye on the Man United score. I'm a Man United fan, by the way. Shocking of me. What do you want? Do you want to look at Sofa score? Is that your favourite one? Let's have a look at Sofa score. Get that on. Yeah, I'm a Man United fan and I'm not even watching the game. How shocking is that? I must say, it's really hard to get excited to watch Man United play football at the moment, isn't it? There's all sorts of games going on. Should I have a quick look? Bro, EOM, I can't believe it either. I was literally just saying that they've kept, I think, in the last 12 months in the Premier League, I think they have one clean sheet to their name. And they play Bayern Munich in the Champions League and keep a clean sheet. Excuse me. Keep a clean sheet. It's incredible. Anything of interest there is the Man United game. Keep an eye on that then. Right. I have Solanke, Watkins, Haaland, Diaz, and Mbumo, Saka, McNeil, and Rodgers. Oh. Bloody hell. I'd say Luis Diaz, you know. I think Luis Diaz is going to see some rotation this weekend. I think I'd bench Luis Diaz. Rashford, nice. I'll catch up on that, actually. I can watch it on my phone, can't I? I'll check out the goal. I really like, if you're talking Brennan Johnson, I really like him. The only thing I would say is just be wary of the international break, because the worst thing you can do is bring in a player now and then they just get injured playing for their country, and then you've used the transfer this week and you're kind of one transfer down for next week dealing with it, if that makes sense. And Brennan Johnson, you know, he's been so good so far this season. He's going to play 90 minutes every game. He's going to play every minute for Wales, isn't he, over the break? So if they've got games, I'm pretty sure Wales will have games. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Is it worth taking a -4 for Son to Diaz, Smith Rowe to Maddison? No, I don't even. I'd be sceptical as to whether Luis Diaz actually starts this weekend. I'm quite glad I didn't pick him on my wild card. As tempting as it was, I always thought that, yeah, there's always a chance that he wouldn't start, and I think this weekend could be one. Someone's defo made a few bucks betting against big teams, yeah. Bruno, I would say, oh, blimey. Who's playing tonight? If Garnacho's in the lineup tonight, okay. So those are the teams tonight. So I think that Garnacho plays at the weekend. Rashford probably does too. But it all depends on how well they play. But I'd say Bruno's always number one. I'd probably put Rashford in second, Garnacho third. Probably. Yeah, Upamecano should have been sent off, definitely. I saw his 2 challenges on Watkins. He should have got sent off. Vixie, I think top 5 goalkeepers. David Raya, Alisson, Edison. I would say we got our Flecken up there. Probably Verbruggen of Brighton as well. He's pretty good. That's probably a lot, really. I'd say there's 2, really. If you want to spend a bit more money, get David Raya. If you want a cheap one, get Flecken. I think that's about it, really, in terms of goalkeepers right now. Yeah, Evan Nilsson's decent. There are so many decent, cheap strikers in FPL right now. So he's just one of the list, right? There's so many good, cheap strikers. I'll just go back to my team. So you got something to look at FPL related. Brennan Johnson versus Rodgers versus McNeil versus Mavididi, please. Rodgers. Rodgers every time for me. Yeah, I'd say Rodgers. I think Rodgers is the best sub 7 million midfielder in the game. I'd go that far. Once you go up in price, I think the next better one is Mbumo. But other than that, I think Rodgers is the one. I agree, Notion Vids. We're closing in. By the way, if anyone is watching this and hasn't already, please subscribe. Trying to get this 10k subs by the end of the year. What are we on at the moment? About 9,070, I think. So yeah, that'd be great. And yeah, obviously, FPL Tom's a good mate of mine. I imagine he could be streaming right now. I think he usually does something on a Thursday. But yeah, great mate of mine, good YouTuber. He's also, I'm really impressed by his second channel. Flew out to Sweden, filmed the Gothenburg derby. What was it? The Stockholm derby. Probably the Stockholm derby. Really good video. Definitely check it out. Tom, what's his name? Tom Langford, I think. Check him out. Is Son a hold? Yeah, just wait and see if we get any news. I think he should be fine. I think in the end, most people's choice is Salah or Palmer. Everyone will need Haaland, Saka. Oh, I don't have Haaland, Saka. Yeah, I agree, Andy. Palmer's the one that can haul a lot. Saka's the one that will just be a steady Eddie. Yeah, a couple people asked me about Foden. I just don't think we've seen enough of him this season for me to be picking him in FPL yet. He hasn't played enough minutes. He obviously did all right in the Champions League, but hasn't played enough minutes in the Prem, and he hasn't looked good enough. Do you know what I mean? He just hasn't. Quite simply, he hasn't looked good enough. And yes, he might be coming back, but you know, 1 game left to go before the international break. I'd leave it. I'd just give him a bit more time. I think Rodgers is the best cheap one, Paul, I've got to say. Yeah, he was best player of the Premier League last season. I completely agree with you. I just wouldn't pick him right now. Ooh. I think Captain, it's got to be Højlund. But that's my pick. That's not Erik Ten Hag, though. So obviously Højlund's playing tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb. Who is, right? I see you got your question there, Minimal. I'm going to change that question. I know some people watching this aren't actually English. I don't actually know Harmony. You have to check out Tom Langford's channel. What was I going to say? Who is the best English player is what I was going to ask. I genuinely would go out on a limb and say Cole Palmer is probably the best English player right now. I think he's better than Kane. better than Bellingham. It's really hard to compare, but I do think he is I think he's probably the best English player. Saka and Foden, though, I can't compare. I think they're on the same level. I don't think there is one that's better than the other. Yeah, that's the thing, Andy. It can be quite easy to be distracted by Rodgers being super cheap. You might think, oh, I don't want to start a 5 million midfielder every week, but don't let that put you off. Oh, sorry, Frederick. I think Solanke's proven himself. He scored 19 goals playing for Bournemouth last season, mate. I think that's enough for me. Yeah, I thought he was really good against United, albeit against 10 men. He's looked good every time he's played for Spurs. His underlying data is pretty good. Let's have a quick look at that. Yeah, against Brentford, he put up 1.7 XG, 1.3 against United. Arsenal, it was Arsenal, and then 0.49 again. I mean, 0.94 expected returns per 90 at the moment. Yeah, I think he's good. And then Brighton, they were terrible against Chelsea. After that, they've got West Ham, who look terrible. I think their manager could genuinely get sacked this week if they lose again. And then Palace, who have not been good defensively. Villa, who haven't kept a Premier League clean sheet in about a year. And then Ipswich in 11. Sorry, I've just had a cup of tea and it's a bit gassy. Apologies, guys. So yeah, the next 5 fixtures, I think they look pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, I agree, minimal. I think the best England 11 right now is a 4-2-3-1. Has to be Anthony, even though comparatively he is not better than Foden, right? But I feel like Anthony Gordon has to play on the left wing for England because you need someone with legs that can run in behind. And Saka doesn't really do that, whereas Gordon definitely does. Put Palmer as the 10, Saka on the right, Kane up front, and then 2 in the middle. Probably Rice, Mainu, whoever really. But that's how I'd play. Would you do... Oh... So you're kind of fixing one problem and adding another by doing Diaz to Foden. I would say only do that if you get definite news that Foden starts, I would say. Haaland, Jackson Wood. You asked me a question. I just leave them. Haaland, Jackson Wood is really good. Bro, what to get if I pay you monthly sub? Well, I will see your message in the chat more easily on a live stream. Most of the videos, unless they're uploaded quite late in the evening, most of the videos I post you'll get at least 2 or 3 hours early. And you just support me in general. So yeah, I'll see your messages in the chat more easily. Might get some early videos and you can show your support to me and I'll be very grateful for it. Another goal is there. Hoyland. Is that Nicolas Pepe? No, another Pepe. Hoyland goal. Keeps saying, Kafdan keeps saying Bruno scored. Hotline. I don't think that will stay the same forever, Kafdan, I've got to say. What was that in relation to animations? Those next 5 are juicy. What do you mean by that? Tune it, yep, just seen that. Andy Burton, Gordon is good. I agree, he's flying under the radar. I would agree. Lewis Benila, thinking Mooney's upgraded to Solanke. Almost definitely. Yeah. And I would bench Matoma. Like, yeah, Mooney's to Solanke is a good move, mate. Definitely. Oh, Spurs attacker, yeah, definitely. Well, that's a good idea, Nicola. I'm assuming your name is Nicholas. I can't read the Greek alphabet, but I could do a VIP group chat. Do you guys have a preferred what am I trying to say? A preferred like app that you want to do that group chat in? Yeah, let me know. Kaftan, knowing what has happened to Bruno this season, it is very... Man United win 10-0 and he wouldn't get a return. You want to do it on WhatsApp? I'll think about it, man, if that's all right. Don't feel any rush to send me your cash or anything. I'll have a think about that. One thing, I really struggle with my phone at the moment. Just with everything I've got going on in my life, I really struggle. So I could do a WhatsApp group, but how active I will be in it was just, yeah, be tough. And also I'd have to, I trust you, don't get me wrong, but if the channel grows, I'd have to give out my phone number, you know? I'm not sure. McNeil in for Semenyo next week. Yeah, true on Discord. Yeah, could do Discord. McNeil in for Semenyo next game week. Can't bring him in v Newcastle. Oh, yeah, I'll just leave Semenyo this week. He's got Leicester, hasn't he? Semenyo, I think. Just leave him. Kaftan definitely is a Bruno owner. Oh, I've just lost the chat. Thank you everyone for joining. We've got 50 people in the stream. Thank you very much. If you're new around here, haven't already, please subscribe. Leave a like as well. Be great. Fantasy FC is trying to throw people off track by telling them to buy Bruno. Sorry, Palmer. The fixtures turn, and you probably have to sell Salah for him. I'm thinking of something stupid. Getting rid of Luis Diaz, I think, is a good idea. I think he's going to be a minute's risk now for the rest of the season. I'm not going to say that, Andy. I do trust you, but I've been done before. Nikeo? Awesome. I'm going to Google that before I say it. It could get me banned from YouTube. I'm just translating it. Translation. Greek. Oh, it is. Niku. It is. Yashu Philly. It does mean hello. Hello, friend. I trust you. I trust you. I remember I went on a holiday to, I was very young when, well, I can't remember how old I was. One of the best holidays I've ever had, actually. Went on holiday to Corfu with my family. When my parents were still together, that was. And I remember stepping out of the airport, and the sign of the airport, I couldn't read it, and I didn't know that the Greeks had a different alphabet, so that was a surprise. But Corfu was brilliant. I can't remember the resort town that we stayed in, but there was a bakery that was about a 5-minute walk from the hotel. And every morning, my dad and I would walk to the bakery and get a freshly baked loaf of bread. And the bread was still warm from the oven. And yeah, still warm bread on a summer's morning in Corfu. That was pretty good. I haven't been back to Greece since, to be fair. If I could go, Niku, if I could go to one place in Greece that's not Corfu, because I've been there already, where would you go? If you will do group chat, do it in next few weeks, because every week that pass, more people are getting away for fantasy if they're not. Yeah, fair enough. It's the way it goes, man. Nice one, Andy. That's why you know the Greek. What did you doing out in Greece? Were you was that just like, well, I guess for work, but what kind of work were you doing? DCL is a bit like Bruno. I don't see the hype. You own Bruno. Come on, man. Stefan Kosovic, Salah and Eze to Saka and Palmer. Ooh. From mine. No, I wouldn't take. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, that doesn't sound horrendous. I wouldn't sell Salah though. But that doesn't sound horrendous. There he is, FPL Tom, legend in the house. How you doing, mate? People are already talking about you in my chat. Someone, was it Notion Vids, saying we need to do a 10k, so I reckon we'll probably, hopefully hit it around the same time. A 10k celebration live stream. We were already talking about that, weren't we? So yeah, good to see you. Hope you're well and back from your trip in Sweden. I haven't been able to watch the full video yet, but I made sure to click on it and give you a like. But I just haven't had the time today to watch it yet. But yeah, I hope you had a good trip, mate. Best replacement for Luis Diaz. Okay, piss up. I'll need 1 can of beer, I think, mate, and then I'm done. Yeah, I'll definitely do a shoey. Yeah, 100%. I'll do a shoey. No doubt about it. I'll do a shoey. I'll do a shoey like at my gym shoe if I needed to, but let's keep it clean. I'll pick my best shoe. Nice, Andy. You go Rhodes, would you? I like Brennan Johnson, yeah. Go for Brennan. Saka, Haaland, Palmer, Haaland. Go for Haaland. Oh, a few people have been asking me about Foden, Tom. I just think it's too early. Like, I cannot deny that Foden is a good player and will do well in FPL this season. But no one can guarantee his minutes. Right now, you can't guarantee his minutes. And it's just about to be the international break. And I think in order to get Foden, you'd have to, just because of his price, you'd have to sell someone who is good, right? I'd probably hold off this week and just take it on the chin. Because I don't think there's a big enough sample of him this season. Oh yeah, Harmony is a big Swedish football fan, by the way, Tom, so definitely answer her question. I couldn't, because I didn't watch the full video, forgive me, I didn't know the teams that you were watching. And also, who did they, there you go, there's the answer. Who did they play on Tuesday? 2-1, is it? Shock, they've conceded. By the way, I am a Man United fan, right? And the issue at Man United is the midfield. Casemiro and Eriksen, right? You're not going to win anything with Casemiro and Eriksen in midfield, I'm afraid. Both of them are probably, or Casemiro, probably Eriksen too. As much as I love them both, they're done. They should not be starting. You know, Man United are not going to win trophies if they have an Eriksen and Casemiro midfield. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Some bin men. Hey, don't diss bin men, man. They're important people. You want your bins emptied? You're not getting your bins emptied for weeks now, Tom. There's your bins. You get rats and mice. It's not good, mate. You need your bins emptied. And Mbumo hopefully scores again in the first minute. That'd be great. Who has the worst? I've got to say Man United. Chelsea actually have decent players in every position now. I actually think Chelsea, they'll be up there for Champions League. If you don't mind, I'm just going to have a little orange. I agree on Foden. I think I'd wait. The thing with Ugarte is that he didn't have a pre-season. So I think he's going to be a while before he's 100%. And one player is not going to fix that midfield. You're like, Alice, you don't seem a Man United fan. I guess I'm just like, I'm not watching the game, I'm doing this. I can't get excited about my team at the moment. It just is what it is. Like, they have caused me, over the last couple of years, they have cost me so much pain. I just kind of give up with them, to be honest. Plastic, yeah, I'm plastic. Whatever. Call me plastic. They're terrible at the moment, aren't they? Well, they're winning at the moment, but yeah. Yeah, I try and follow F1 Notion vids, but I gotta say, beyond swimming in football, I really don't have the time to invest in another sport. I was really into the NBA a few years ago, and a bit of MMA as well. I really respect and appreciate mixed martial arts, but I just don't have the time to watch it. And occasionally boxing as well, but again, only when the big stuff's on. Neither do I, Shaniel, mate. Neither do I. Yeah, 2-2. There you go. Just field is shocking. And I'm not going to go through. There's a list as long as your arms as problems at Man United. I'm not going to go through it all. Harmony is a Leeds fan. There's a really good Leeds song to the tune of "Love Will Tear Us Apart," but I'm not going to sing that. But I sing that quite often because it's quite a catchy song. It might be about Leeds falling apart, something like that. I always seem to. The few times I have drunk in the last couple of years, I always seem to sing that song when I'm drunk. So I was at Glastonbury this year, and I was singing that all the time for some reason. And I nearly got into an altercation with a Leeds fan. Tom knows. The midfield's just done, isn't it, Shaniel? I can understand why he's fuming. Well, Snaker, I've got some good news for you, mate. We're in this together. Well, I've got Gabrielle, but not really. It just depends who your alternative players are, right? If you've got good players instead of Arsenal players, wouldn't worry too much. You do kind of fall apart most weeks. What was I going to look at? But yeah, I just don't think it works. And even then, like, you think of all of the top Premier League teams right now, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, they all play with a three-man midfield. Whereas United, I just don't think, it sounds wrong, but I don't think there's a space for like a number 10 in an absolute top team. Does that make sense? And Bruno Fernandes is obviously an out-and-out number 10. And there aren't really many top teams that have a number 10, if that makes sense. Has Bruno been... That's a yellow, isn't it? Surely. That's not red. It looks red on my screen, but it's not. Surely it's a yellow, right? Yeah, but City don't have an out-and-out number 10, do they? I'm currently top 12k, and I want to keep it up. But I have 0 Arsenal players, mate. I don't know. Maybe I should play free hit. Sometimes I would not do anything, Snake, or I'd roll, especially before international break. I'm an idiot. Forget what I said, of course. Foden played as a 10 last week. I'll shut up. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Louis Vanilla asking, how many clean sheets do Man City get over the next 6 weeks? Let's see what their fixtures are. Oh, they should, shouldn't they? They really should. 2. You have to pick that. Like, the maths suggests that they will, but my brain, my gut says they get like 2, just with the way that they concede just crap goals all the time. Well, sorry, no. They either concede absolute worldies, penalties, or Edison makes a mistake. That's how Man City concede goals. I think they will, Andy. It's a night of singling out players, isn't it, for me? But I genuinely think Michael Keane is absolutely terrible. And as soon as he's out of the Everton team, they'll start doing well, I think. I actually feel sorry for him. Because I think it's unfair that he gets played. Because I don't remember a game. I don't know if you've got any Everton fans in the chat. But I don't remember a game where Michael Keane has not made a mistake and cost a goal. I don't remember a game where that's not happened. And I could not lay a glove on how good he is at football, right? Compared to me, he is... I would never, but he shouldn't be playing in the Premier League. I think they keep a couple, and I don't think Rodri... I think Rodri actually helps Man City more from an attacking perspective than he does from a defensive one. That sounds mad to say, but I do. He couldn't get a game for Mansfield. I don't think he could. Yeah, but the Premier League was... Tell me, in the last 20 years, a team that won the Premier League, apart from Leicester, that didn't have a chance of it, right? And it's not... Between 3 teams is pretty good, isn't it? Or bench Wood or DCL. I'd probably bench Chris Wood this week. 15k and wild card in. Oh, no. I would go for Saka, mate. I'd go for Saka. I'm big on penalty takers. You speak to me about picking a penalty taker versus another one, I'd go for the penalty taker. I'd pick Solanke, mate. I'd go for Solanke. Branthwaite injured again, is he? I thought he was just back fit. If he's injured, then they are in trouble. But I don't think he is. I have Coldplay, Troubled by Coldplay in my head at the moment. Yeah, he's back. He's fit. He's back. I have my team on screen again. Hey, FPL Tom, I did a sort of viral tweet the other day. I think he's got till November, mate. I think he could be gone next month if they don't start winning. Won't you take a hit with Rodgers and Eze? Why would I take a hit? This team's fine. I'm not panicking. If you could take any players from United to Bristol City, which 3 would you consider not even good enough for Bristol? Good God. Probably Ericsson. Actually, no, he'd be fine at Bristol City. I just think Ericsson and Casemiro have just kind of lost their legs, really. No, genuinely, I think all of the Man United squad would get in the Bristol City team. Yeah, I think they would. Let's have a look. Who else in that United squad? What is the United squad right now? Yeah, they'd all get in. I can't really make that argument, mate. Harmony fancies Chris Wood, don't we all? No, I'm joking. Yeah, I'd still play Rodgers though. I think United are going to destroy Man United. Yeah, it's true, Tom. Actually, it's a mentality thing. They were kind of low against Ipswich, weren't they? They were just, I don't know if you saw the game, but they were a bit meh. And obviously the high of, it's really hard to follow up a big high, to be fair. Yeah, I don't mind that logic. And also, I think, Harmony, if you've got that gut instinct that Chris Wood is going to do well, you'd be more upset, I think, if he did well and you didn't pick him than if you picked Rodgers and Rodgers did well, if that makes sense. So I'd go with your gut. Is Branthwaite's injured again? The thing is, Paul, I just don't think the managers at Man United have been the problem. How many coaches, like, considered world-class coaches have Man United gone through now and not done anything with them? So the problem is the whole setup of the club, which has kind of been sorted out, but that kind of step change in a business and a club takes well over a year to really come to fruition. They probably needs 2 or 3 transfer windows and then might start seeing good things. So yeah, I'm sure Villa did have a lot of knocks. That's a good point, actually. I think Ollie was a decent manager. Again, I think he was let down by the midfield he had at his disposal. Like he obviously had Ronaldo, Varane, all of those players, but he had Fred and McTominay in midfield. You're not winning Premier League titles with Fred and McTominay in midfield. Even if Ronaldo's in your team, you need a midfield, and he had Fred and McTominay. Yeah, Mourinho did win a Europa League, but we had Matic and Pogba back then. And, like, yes, you can diss Pogba all you like, but he's a fairly talented footballer, isn't he? See, the Forest defence is an interesting one. They were also good last season as well. It's just the Nuno factor. That's how Nuno likes to set up his teams. He likes them to be defensively disciplined. Kaftan is... Bruno's just getting hammered in the chat by Kaftan at the moment. But yeah, I don't think the managers at United have necessarily been the issue. Yeah, agree, Harmony. Oh, there's so many problems, Tom. There's so many problems with it. I just don't... It's such a complicated thing to try and solve as well. There's just so many issues there. Completely agree, Harmony. And Bruno gives his all as well. But he's I just think the dynamic of the dressing room must be screwed. I also think the lack of care and attention and investment in the training ground. You show up there every day and it just all looks the same. Nothing gets improved. You don't feel energized to go into work every morning. You don't put your all into training. You kind of dip in games. And then you got Bruno, who's your club captain, who I really like Bruno, but he's so stroppy and emotional that I wouldn't want to be led by a guy like that. You want a calm, hard-nosed, you don't want a guy that gets too high, too stroppy. You just want a level-headed character as your captain. And that's not what Bruno is. So, you've got him as your lead. It's just so many issues in the club. No, Shinviz, if it's possible, I want someone in for the long term. And I tell you what, actually, you look at Liverpool bringing in Slot. He is not, right? So he's a very good coach, but he is not considered one of the best coaches in the world. But because the setup at Liverpool and the dressing room and everything, he hasn't exactly changed a lot. But because everything was set up already and it was a well-structured, well-oiled run machine, he came in there and got results immediately. And I don't think that's all Slot, there's no way. It's but what was built before him. 2-1 Man U, you think Villa are going to lose? Fair enough. Yeah, agree. Agree, Andy. But don't forget, Man United are playing tonight as well. So they're tonight. They got less rest. Look at the team that's playing. This is the starting back four that will play this weekend. You'd imagine one of Casemiro or Eriksen starts, which I wouldn't do, but they would. Most of that front line will start as well. So they got a night's less rest. Solanke and Winks or Vardy and Johnson. Solanke and Winks, Vardy and Johnson. It depends. If you can bench Harry Winks every week, then do that. 7-0 Rodgers with all the... Yeah, whatever. At this point, I don't care. I just don't care. It's just really hard to care about Man United at the moment. 4 goals in the first half in that game, by the way. If Bruno was that good, he would be at Madrid. FPL Tom. You just got to believe in Bruno, Kaftan. It's easier said than done, but stick by him. Definitely Project Piano. The way that the transfers have worked this season, you can bank them. So last season, I would say no. You wouldn't have 5 transfers, but you can hold the 5 transfers after your wild card. So for me, it all depends on how many changes you realistically want to make on your wild card, right? Yeah, but Moyes didn't change the Alex Ferguson team. He just inherited it. And it was a team that was falling off a cliff in terms of the age of players. He tried to sign Gareth Bale. Who else? He tried to sign a load of really good players. And all he got was Fellaini. That was all that they got him. So, you know, he had a title winning team that was really falling off a cliff in terms of their ages. The best manager in football history left. And they signed Fellaini. And that was it. I mean, give him a break. I would go Solanke and then find a way to Kulu or Johnson in the next few weeks. Yeah, don't mind it. I don't mind it. God, I'm getting a bit tired, guys. I'll do another 10 minutes, go till 9, and then I'll probably have to shoot off. I'm getting quite tired. I've had a pretty intense day, to be fair. Tomorrow afternoon, I think it's at 3 p.m. I'm going to go live for a game week preview. I'll have a bit more stats to share. So we'll do that. Then Saturday morning, deadline stream. I did all my quiz questions today, so there's a 5-question quiz. Some of the questions are not actually multiple choice, so that should be good fun. There's one where I've got a player silhouette, and you have to guess the player. So yeah, that should be fun. Animations, good to see you. Cheers. The only coach on the market that I'd want is Tuchel, Thomas Tuchel. Tuchel. It's Tuchel, isn't it? I'll take Tuchel. That's it. See you, Shaniel, mate. Take care, my friend. Porro. I wouldn't mind the wage. Another thing as well, I've got to say, the Man United manager after Sir Alex Ferguson left is probably one of the worst jobs in the world. It's such a hard job. You cannot, that's, I would not want to do that. I would not want to do that job. That is probably alongside the UK Prime Minister, who pretty much everyone hates, just naturally. I'm not going to go into politics, but pretty sure most prime ministers are hated by most of the country, and so is the Man United manager. Probably more so. People probably see more of Ten Hag than they do Keir Starmer, for example. So yeah, I genuinely think the Man United manager is the worst. Probably number 1 most difficult and worst to manage jobs in the country. It's no wonder they picked a bald man, right? You just lose all your hair doing that. Hopefully Pez lover. I'd love a bit of Solanke. And I'm sure Kathdan would love Bruno to return as well. Yeah, Thomas Frank, I agree. Also, I think Mbumo is absolutely different gravy and should go to a top team. Agree, Tom. There you go. Never step into a great man's shoes. There are 2 examples of where that's happened, and I can remember it in recent history. One of them being David Moyes taking over at Man United, and another one is a car journalist who I really respect and is really good. It's a guy called Chris Harris. He took on the Top Gear job after Jeremy, Richard, and James did it. Those are the 2 examples of stepping into great people's shoes and it not coming off. And Chris Harris did a really good job on Top Gear, but he still got hated for it. I think Mbumo suits Liverpool, mate. I think Liverpool will be looking for a right winger to replace Salah, and it'll either be Mbumo or Jared Bowen that go in. That'll be my pick. Ooh, he is quite a Spursy player, isn't he? To be fair, feels quite Spursy. I think Mbumo's like 24. I also think I can see your point there, John, but I think back then football managers were more influential on the club than they are now. Particularly, most clubs have got a big board of directors, a chief executive, a football director, a chairman, all of that, and then a big board of directors above the manager. And I don't think all those years ago, I don't mean that as a disrespectful thing to say, but those years ago, there were as many people involved in the process. Do you know what I mean? So that's where I completely agree, though. Yeah, exactly, John. And I would also say, I was going to come up with a good point there. Yeah, I couldn't tell you a player that's improved unless it's a youth player, I couldn't tell you a player that's signed for Man United and then subsequently improved while they were playing for us. I haven't. I'm trying to be good with my diet at the moment at Harmony with my injury and nationals coming up. So I've been eating as clean as humanly possible, but maybe I'll have some of those as a little reward, because they do sound good. The best biscuits that I've had recently are the Lotus Biscoff creams. They're basically a custard cream sandwich with a Biscoff spread inside. They're next level. If Bruno plays for Liverpool, you gotta get Bruno out your head. Bruno is in your head rent free at the moment. What do you think of Salah and Nketiah to Foden and Watkins? Oh God, no. Just swap Nketiah for someone cheap, or leave him. I mean, he's playing, right? I know it's Liverpool, but probably leave him. My shoulder has thankfully calmed down a little bit as well. So the rotator cuff swelling that I had has gone down, but I can feel that my bursa, which is another part of the shoulder, basically, my bursa is sore now, so that's annoying. So you might have to give me some of those injections, Harmony, because I'm not sure a bursa is going to take a little while to heal. I'll be honest, I think I'm just going to swim through it. Got 3 more minutes if anyone wants to ask me some questions. The thing is with David De Gea, absolutely world-class shot stopper, but in the modern day, playing for a top team, as a goalkeeper, you need to basically be a midfielder with your feet. David De Gea he's an old school goalkeeper. He doesn't use his feet. I just don't think he's good enough with his feet to play for a top team. I'd probably hold Dalot. I think the fixtures for United get good. Oh. They could lose to anyone, couldn't they? But I do think the fixtures for United get good. Good to see you, Victor. Long time no see, mate. I saw you commented on one of my videos today. I hope the master's degree is going well, mate. I hope I'm not distracting you from your studies either. Yeah. I'm sure the Danish degrees are really hard. Probably harder than our British ones for sure. Apologies, mate, but I've only got a couple minutes left because I am absolutely knackered. I've had a really long day, so I was just going to stream quickly. Oh, my pleasure, John. I hope it all goes well. It will all go well. Of course it will. I can imagine that's quite a stressful thing to be thinking about. I assume they'll get you up and walking straight away. Rogers or DCL? Rogers. Dibbling, hopefully. Yeah, swimming, not so great recently, mate. I done my shoulder. I had a bit of a rotator cuff issue a couple of weeks back. That's calmed down now, but then I've got a bit of bursitis as well. You can Google what that is, but my bursa is a little bit angry at the moment. But I'm hoping that starts to calm down over the next week. So, yeah. Also, I'm hoping that when I actually am fully fit and able to swim, that I haven't forgotten how to. Oh no, there's penalties. It is quite funny. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you so much for joining, mate. I really appreciate that. I think we might leave it there, guys. That's all right. Oh, Luis Diaz out for McNeil. Could do worse. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate that, mate. And you too. Are you enjoying your university experience? That's also important. Yeah, why not, Priyesh? I get McNeil in, see what you can do with the rest of the money. I just don't think Diaz starts this week. I'm so pleased you're enjoying it, mate. Good for you. Right. I think that's everything. So I'm going to end it there. Oh, Ahmed, I'm not thinking about next week. Got an international break between now and then. Anything could happen. You don't want to be thinking like that. Right, I'm going to end it there. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We were live for about an hour and 10 then. That was quite good. I enjoy every stream. Interacting with you guys in the chat is an absolute pleasure. Yeah, thanks so much. If you haven't already, please leave me a like rating on the stream. I'll be live again 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon UK time for a final preview video or a live stream, but I'll do it in such a way that it's kind of structured like a video. So I'm thinking for the first sort of 20 minutes or so of the stream, I probably won't be replying to too many chat messages just because I want it to be like rewatchable, if that makes sense. So I'll sort of record it like a video and then, well, I will, of course, interact with the chat, but you know what I mean? Trying to make it a bit more of a video style thing. And then, yeah, we'll stay live for an hour or so and be chatting. Who's getting the new hip? John, I hope is it John? Yes, I hope your procedure goes well tomorrow, mate. And if you're around, catch me in the afternoon if you just sat up and recovering. Yeah, cheers all. I'll catch you tomorrow afternoon or Saturday or whenever.